Hello YouTube family, Greg D here, back with another Golf R video. Got my Volkswagen shirt on, I am ready to go. And today we're going to talk about 5 things that I dislike about this car. Now this is me really nitpicking this car because, as you guys remember from the last video and every video that I've made thus far, I've ranted and raved about this car. This car is actually very good all around. Don't regret buying it whatsoever, but there are 5 things that kind of irk me, dislike. But with that being said, start her up. Ha! Let's go for a drive. I'm actually on my way to go to the bowling alley because I have to roll off for my bowling league. So I'm at a work training this week, so we're gonna have some fun. So, first thing that I want to talk about as far as the dislikes go is, let me get out of my driveway here, beep beep, I'm not even close to the wall there. First thing I want to talk about is the fact that the mirror caps are silver. Now I did say that I was going to be really nitpicky about it, and I'm going to be really nitpicky about it. I understand that the silver mirror caps are a Golf thing, but at the same time I feel like it's just the way that Volkswagen kind of cheaped out, and like, you can have matching mirror caps. Now I know that you can fix that aftermarket wise, but come on Volkswagen, that's something easy that you could do. I don't know, it just makes the car look off. And I know that like Mini Cooper does the kind of thing where they have, you know, mismatched mirror caps and all that, but I don't know, it just doesn't look right to me. And that's just my personal preference. I know that some people really like the fact that they're silver, and again, I get it that it's a Golf R thing, but I don't know, just for me and my taste, it's just not a thing, and I'm going to be changing them, wrapping them, I don't know, but I'm going to do something with them. So number 2 is the fact, and this is something that my wife actually said, and she's not a car person, but my wife is something that she kind of complained about the first time she got into the car, and that's the fact that the passenger front seat is not fully power like the driver's seat is. Now, again, I feel like this is just a way that they kind of cheaped out, and I get it, there's part shortages and all that kind of stuff, but if you're spending $45,000 plus on a top-of-the-line Volkswagen, I mean, this is basically top-of-the-line Volkswagen unless you decide to go like a fully loaded Arteon or a fully loaded Atlas or something like that, but I mean, this is like flagship car. Give us a full power seat. Like I said, my wife is not a car person whatsoever, and she had mentioned that like immediately when she got into the car, and she was saying about how dumb it was. So that certainly is a thing as well. Now the third thing that I wish that they would do is the chicken nugget. Kind of bugs me. Now I understand that the whole Volkswagen Auto group is doing it, like Porsche does it. Stop it, Volkswagen, stop it. I understand that like Porsche, Audi, like they're all doing it, and I understand it, and I understand that I don't have a manual car either, but I would like to have an actual shift lever still here, especially like when you're trying to go into manual mode. I don't want to be I love paddle shifters, don't get me wrong, but I want the option of either doing paddles or shifting like in a shift gate down here. Again, I know how to drive a manual, and I know some of you guys are going to be like, ugh! But yes, I have a DSG, and I still would like a shift lever. When for like the first week that I had this car, I was not really sure where to put my right hand, like because I'm used to like putting my left hand on the wheel and steering, and using my right hand to shift, like in the manual shift gate. That's what I did in my GTI. But with this car, I'm kind of like, I don't know where to put my hand. So I find myself driving with both hands on the wheel a lot more, which is obviously a good thing. But at the same time, I'm also kind of like, I wish I could have the shift gate. So, fourth thing that I wish that they would have done, and that would be to have given us a spare tire. I understand a subwoofer, we got the upgraded the sound system, the Harman Kardon, which I like the Harman Kardon system, honestly. I know that the Harman Kardon system has gotten a lot of shit online from other reviewers and other people that have, you know, the Golf R. I personally like it just because I'm coming from the base system, but I also think that you could have done it differently and you still could have given us a spare tire. I think to have that extra peace of mind because we're running low profile 19-inch tires on this car would just, me as a daily driver and using this car as a daily driver, it would give me a lot more peace of mind, I think, to have that there in case I needed it. Now, again, I understand, just like the mirror caps, that this is something that you can fix aftermarket for relatively cheap. Like, you know, same thing with the mirror caps. You can fix the mirror caps. And I know that you get the GTI spare apparently fits in this car. You can make it fix. But again, I feel like these are just little things for peace of mind that they kind of cheaped out on. And again, I get it. Part shortages, chip shortages, all that fun stuff, you know, delays and all this other crap. But just these little things. Again, this is really me nitpicking. And the fifth thing, and this is probably something that everyone has harked on at this point, and I think it is some buttons. Now, I don't think, now I've gotten used to the fact that I don't have any buttons, okay? I've gotten used to it. I use my Apple CarPlay, which eliminates most of the issues. Even the climate controls aren't terrible, but I do think that it would be a good idea to have a middle ground. Because basically, Volkswagen, you went from buttons for everything to buttons for nothing. I think there needs to be a middle ground here. And I think in the new GLI, they kind of hit that middle ground, because it's kind of like a mix of, you know, what was good about the Mark 7 interior and what was good about the Mark 8 interior, and they kind of mixed it together. But I don't think you need to go full buttons, but I think you need to kind of like generally transition people to get used to not having any buttons. I don't think it should just be like, we're this way and then we're on the totally other end of the spectrum within like one generation. I don't think that should be a thing. Really, the only buttons that there should be that I kind of miss is you should have a physical traction control button. Hands down, should have a traction control button. Yet, climate buttons, yes, like they do in the Audi A3, A4, S3, that like is just coming out, the 2022. They actually have climate control buttons and a radio tuning volume knob. That's it. You don't need to have, you can still have the big infotainment screen, you can still have all the menus and stuff, but I think a lot of people would be happier and would be able to transition better into this car, and you wouldn't necessarily like alienate people if that's something that they're on the fence about whether they should buy like a Mark 8 or not. Have a traction control button, have a couple of climate control buttons, even though the climate control menu itself is not really that bad, but have some climate control HVAC buttons, and have a radio knob, have a tuning knob. Like, this is just easy little things that you could do to really, again, set this car apart. You could for sure make, you know, not alienate as many customers, and you might not lose sales that way. So there's that. One bonus thing I will say about the dislike of this car, and it's not the car itself, it's some of these dealerships that are getting absolutely fucking ridiculous with their markups. I have seen, I'm like on the forums, I'm in a couple of like Facebook pages and everything that are related to like the Mark 8 Golf in general, like whether it's GTI, Golf R, you know, Golf overseas. But some of these markups are fucking ridiculous, man. Some dealerships are crazy with them. So they're getting them off the truck. Some of these dealerships are marking them up to $60,000, $65,000, $70,000. And I know I had mentioned this in the previous video too. I saw one the other day where a dealership had marked up now it was a Canadian dealership, but they had marked up a car, a brand new Volkswagen Golf R. It had about 1,600 kilometers on it, and they marked it up to $90,000 Canadian, which roughly translate to about $72,000 US. Holy shit, who in the bloody blue hell is going to spend $72,000 on a Golf R? Now, I understand someone's going to buy that. Someone's going to be dumb enough to buy that. Someone's going to like this car enough and want it right now, and they're not going to wait. And trust me, I've had those moments myself when I was waiting 6 months for this car. And I get it, but don't put yourself in a position where you're regretting buying a car when this car is not worth $72,000. This car is not worth $72,000. I can see some people, again, and I mentioned this in the last video, I can see some people really, you know, spending $3,000, maybe $5,000 over MSRP. But once you get into that realm of, you know, you're spending $60,000, $65,000 for this car, you can go up to the next tier of car and have a much better car. You can go up to an Audi S3, an RS3, an S4, you know, higher trim, you know, Mercedes. I can't even think of like Mercedes off the top of my head. You could get like a BMW M2 for that much. You know, there's options of like much nicer cars than this. Not saying that this isn't a nice car, but it's got to stay in its own lane. For $45,000, this is a fucking great car. But for $65,000, not so much. So that's all I got for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, my friends, we'll see you soon.